Welcome back to Blood Omen 2. Today I am solo because, well, reasons. So I am starting off back where I miserably, horribly, disgustingly died last time, and I am still continuing my race against, I think it's Sebastian, to get to the Bishop of Meridian, and, well, yeah. That's it. Nothing interesting is going to happen in this video, trust me. In the next one we will finally get to the bishop, but here it might as well serve as an intermission. Now there's one thing that I never actually mentioned in the videos, although I did mention it in the Something Awful thread, and it's the fact that I like the outfit that Kain has here, as well as the next outfit. It will have a hoodie, well, a hoodie. But there's one silly thing about this one, and it's the skull patterns on the spolders and on the braces. Honestly, if this was an attempt at a disguise in order to blend into the, well, the inhabitants of the noble, of the rich part of the city, then it failed miserably precisely because of these skull patterns. So that is kind of silly. But other than that, I really like this outfit, and I think it's the second best. The best one being the next one in much later parts in the game. I am really beginning to hate these glyph guards. You cannot stealth them. Like, what is this mist here for? Really? Science.
They're not a plague on the land. Don't talk that way. They are the means to an orderly society.
My father says...
Oh, you and your father. Don't you see? The order and discipline the Seraphim impose on the lower orders are for everyone's good. They respect us. They know their place.
My father says there was a time when the great noble families ruled the land, with a king over all.
It's just the same now. The Seraphim Lord.
But we, the nobles of the land, are not being permitted to have a proper influence upon affairs.
Speak for yourself.
We cringe and we pay. Many an ancient family has been brought to ruin by the unending taxes. And where is the money going? He's not even building palaces.
Does your father say that too?
My father has disappeared.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Was summoned to a meeting.
Don't tell me anything more.
He never returned. So I've been thinking that if we, the young nobles, could meet.
I've just remembered I have a very important... something I must do at once.
Now, after this fascinating dialogue about the secret police methods of the Seraphim, I was very curious to see what kind of matters to attend to this other guy has. Unfortunately, he saw the corpse, so I have absolutely no idea. But fortunately, now I know what this mist here is for. So I guess I get that going for me. Now, there's one other thing about Blood Omen 2, and it's also something that never came up for some reason, although it's long overdue. And it's Chakan. Chakan is an ancient, I think it's 1992, I think, a game for Sega Genesis. That was known for being notoriously difficult, almost to the point of being unplayable. And there was a development for a sequel to that game. However, the sequel never happened, and instead the art style and the characters and lots of pieces of design were absorbed into Blood Omen 2. For example, the broken ankhs that you can see all around the place, that are the emblem of the Seraphim in BO2. They were originally deemed to appear in the sequel to Chakan. Alternatively, the design of Uma that weird, skimpy design. It's actually originally a design of a character in Chakan, in sequel to Chakan, called the Sirens. Although, to be honest, beyond the name and the art, which by the way we will see in the end credits, I don't really know much about that. So if the thread or the comment section can say anything more on that matter, I would appreciate it. Well, obviously it's kind of difficult to find a way to play Chakan today, unless it's possible in some way to emulate it, although I don't really know how to. I can recommend Let's Play on LP Archive, which I will link in the description somewhere. Now this puzzle is simple, and it involves ladders and turning the power to open a door. Yay, much like 90% of all the glyph energy puzzles in this game. Well, at least we get to hear more of this sound of the wheel churning. Churning. I'm not sure whether you can say that the wheel is churning here. Of course, they had to make a cutscene for this, because the pipe that glows green is not enough of an indication of where exactly this glyph torrent of undefined energy leads. Also, speaking of the combat, another thing that we already mentioned in one of the previous videos, the combat was genuinely fun in the beginning. But now we are well past the point where it gets repetitive. A huge problem with Blood Omen 2 is not the mechanics that are at the core, but the fact that they are the only thing there. Because this is everything that we will see in combat during the entirety of the game, which is, by the way, very long. There is no variety. There will be no new mechanics apart from the new dark gifts, which are all ultimately the same thing. It will all boil down to just waiting in a block, dodging the red unblockable attacks, and then hitting the enemy with either your attacks or with a dark gift. Whichever one is the most powerful one you have at the moment. And that's a huge problem. That's the one of the reasons why the game is so, well, hated. And by me as well. It just gets so insanely repetitive and boring. Yeah. But at least the bosses, which are all puzzles but different puzzles, they are a welcome change. But the regular combat, we're at the point where it just gets boring. And also the thing that was mentioned in the previous video as well is the... by the way, yeah, I'm trying to jump onto this lamppost without success. Another thing that was mentioned in the previous video is the blood-sucking animation, because, as we have mentioned multiple times, it will become progressively longer as we are getting further into the game, and it will take up a good chunk of the time that you spent playing the game. And while it does not take long, no matter what, individually every single time, it's going to rack up and it's gonna become quite tedious. Well, it already is, to be honest.
We were told to be on the lookout for a vampire.
You're to kill him on sight.
Do you not experience a feeling of déjà vu here? I know I do.
You there. You work for the bishop, don't you? I've 3 crates of wine to deliver.
I don't work for him.
Oh, yes you do. I've seen you there.
I've left his employ just this minute. I wouldn't go near the place if I were you.
Why not? I've got this wine.
The Seraphim searching the house.
Thanks, friend. I owe you for that.
And now I'm going to spend a good long while killing everything in my way here. By the way, this is the Bishop's Manor, as you will see in a second. This entire section is just a sequence of the outside, the street, gray section, and the inside buildings, brown sections, just one after the other. And this is the last, finally, street section. The next up we have the Bishop's Manor, but it will not end there. Oh no, it will not end there. We still have a good half an hour of this chapter, do not worry. And that's another weird thing about Blood Omen 2. It doesn't actually feel long, as in large in size. Well, large. It doesn't feel large, but it does feel incredibly long, and it does take a very, very long time to beat. It's the longest of the Legacy of Kain games, even longer than the first Blood Omen, and that one was pretty damn long. And that's what makes it painful. It's all the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again, and nothing changes. And yes, I like this sign, it's amusing. I find this sign moderately amusing. Same stuff on rinse and repeat over and over again. We will have a dash of green in the late game, but at its core there won't be any changes in the mechanics. You will not have to adapt to any changes. You won't have any larger challenges. The enemies will just be becoming more and more tanky as the game progresses. And that's it. That's all that will happen. And I have no idea why this is here. However, wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. This happens. Now do not worry, I'm not actually trapped. I can still control my movement back and forth. I mean forward and backward. Oh yay, another ladder. Yeah, another thing that Blood Omen 2 did wrong. They should have made climbing the ladders a bit faster. They really should have made it faster. Now I want to... Yeah, before jumping to the other window, I want to jump into the courtyard, because I know that I can make that jump. I mean, you can see that I can make it. Well, not from here, but from this window. However... There is an invisible wall. Congratulations, game, you have fucked with me completely and utterly. And now I have to get back up in order to get to that window once again. Of course, I have to climb the ladder once again as well. I find it amusing how the Seraphim guards behave just like whatever rogues and bandits you can find in other people's homes. And we saw previously, when we broke into that other house that looked completely identical to this one, we saw a rogue in there and it killed what's supposed to be, I'm guessing, the owner of the house. Here, however, we have the Seraphim guard. So apparently Seraphim questions are, as that woman in the beginning of the chapter told us, not very healthy for you indeed. This mist serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. at all. Why is it here? You know, in Soul Reaver everything made sense. In Soul Reaver 2, everything served some purpose. Or alternatively was an artistic, well, not artistic, but it indicated something that you had to read in between the lines. But here, there's so many things that are just there and they're just misleading at the best and are confusing at worst. I mean the other way around. Confusing at the best and misleading at the worst. I'm sorry. However, since we are in the Bishop's Manor, we are actually closing in on the Bishop of Meridian. And this is around the point where this video ends. And in the next one, we will encounter the Bishop. We will encounter the vampire who's racing us. I think it's Sebastian. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.